Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Coach Yeboah here. I am excited to be on live. Finally, after months of a long hiatus. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Hello. Do you hear that? All right. So let's take just a moment and share this broadcast with a few people. All right, let's share it. I'm excited to be back. Boy, am I excited to be back. It has been a long while. Yes, I'm sharing the broadcast. I'm excited to be here. Um, I'm excited to be here. All right. I hope you're excited to also be here. Give me a thumbs up if you are excited to be here. Give me some thumbs up. All right. Share it with a friend. Share it with someone who wants to travel, someone who is living here in America, somebody in Africa, in the Caribbean. Share it with them and let them hear what I'm about to share. Now, many of you who have been watching me know that I am a marriage coach. However, I have helped people in so many areas, career. I have a mentorship group that I work with, and I can tell you there is transformation. You're not just getting in contact with me for nothing. By the grace of God, the assignment is clear, and I'm able to work with you to move you from one place to another. All right. Some of us, we need to be moved emotionally, not just physically. Emotionally, we need to be moved. Spiritually, we need to be shifted. And so when you connect with me as a coach, your marriage can shift. Why? Because I have also experienced what it means to go through a difficult marriage. My marriage was completely on the rocks, under the rocks, as a matter of fact. My marriage was completely out of whack. And by the grace of God, my marriage has been resurrected. And this is why I wrote the book, The Death and the death and resurrection of marriage. Okay, so please share, 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 share. Okay, yes, yes, yes. Today is going to be exciting. I'm excited to be here. Okay, I want to share in this video 25 lessons I learned in living in America for 25 years. My gosh. Yesterday, I was sitting there and it just hit me. It's September the 5th. I came to America September 5th, 1999. And it's such a big age for me because it was an answered prayer. My parents had been living abroad. Okay, my parents had been living in America for many years. And, we were left back home to pretty much, prepare because they had 10 children. In those days, how do you bring 10 children to America? It was hard, but they did it. In 1999, they divided us up and sent the majority of the people in July. Now, one person came in 1995, another one came in, a few years later, and then the group that was left, okay, came July 1999, and I went with my brother in 1999, September 5th. So yesterday, it just hit me. You have been in America for 25 years. My gosh, that is such a blessing. Listen, a lot of people who live in America may say negative things about the nation. America is great. It is. And as much as we can try to downplay it, downsize it, listen, there are nations that God have chosen. America is one of those nations. So we're not going to talk down to a nation that we've been sent to. Does America have issues? Absolutely. So does many other countries. You know, and I can tell you that as someone who lived here for 25 years, I've had the opportunity to have, you know, an internal lens and also an external lens. Like my perspective as one who is a visitor is clearly different than someone who was born in America. But because I've been here for so long, you can also say that I have, in a way, become, customized, or I've been Americanized. And so sometimes you also behave like an American. Okay. I mean, it's not always bad when we say, oh, you're behaving like an American. It's not always bad. Just like if we say you're too African is also not bad. It's a cultural thing, distinction. And so there's some things that set you apart from people from other nations. So I want to just share some of the lessons I've learned. Now, let me be honest with you. I've got 40 minutes and I don't think I'll be able to share 25 lessons in 40 minutes. So guys, we're going to have a part 2. Now, today is a good day. So I feel like I may take a break and come back and do the second part. But let's see how it goes. I do have a hard stop in 40 minutes. So let's see how it goes. But I'm excited to be here. I'm so excited. I thrive on lives. I thrive in communication. I thrive in teaching the people and connecting with you. And so when I wasn't able to come on for so many reasons, um, it was just killing my soul. Okay. It was hard for me, but I'm glad to be here. And I want to, I thought this would be a great segue to share my experience. I hope you are happy to see me because I am thrilled to be here, and I hope these lessons bless your life. I am assuming everyone can hear me, and I'm glad. The first lesson I'm going to share, the first lesson, let me start with this. The first lesson I'm going to share is this. The people you encounter, the first people you encounter when you come to America are going to make or break your journey. And I'm saying that boldly. The very first people you encounter when you come to America, they're going to make or break your journey. Am I saying that, right, the people you meet at the airport are going to make or break? It could be, yes. But what I'm really saying is that if you come to America and you stay with somebody, that person can make or break your journey or your destiny altogether, can play a role, a positive or a negative role on your journey. Because here's the thing, when you come to stay with someone, for example, right, the person you come to stay with, their lives, their limitations, their abilities, their resources are what they're going to relay to you. Now, not everybody can be easily persuaded. I'm not one that can easily be persuaded. However, there are people that listen to what they were told when they first came to America, and they followed exactly what they were told. And they're living according to what they were told. And those people's lives mimicked the life of the person who told them. You're going to follow me. You're going to help me today. And I'm too excited. So, I may be even all over the place, but this is going to come out. It's a lesson that needs to be taught. And I hope you're here with me. So the person you encounter means everything. Okay. There is a video I'm going to do talking about the 3 most important things to birth the promises of God. 3 most important things required to birth the promises of God. I'm going to bring that video later on. I haven't recorded it yet. I have written it, but I haven't recorded it. So one of those things is people. People. People, time, and location are the keys to birthing your promises. So today I'm talking about number one lesson is people. The people you encounter when you first come, because they're going to set the trajectory of your stay in America. I know this to be true because I've lived here for 25 years. And while we're on the topic of people, don't take people for granted. That's number two. While we're on the topic, and I know my assistant here is going to take notes of all of that. Some of this I didn't write down, so it may come as I'm speaking. So you'll take notes for me so that I can have a list right together and post it for everyone. Listen, the people you encounter, because their experiences, they will share it. And because we listen with our ear gates, what happens is it's a portal. Your ears are portals that people can enter, spirits can enter, things can enter, belief systems can be transferred to you. So your ear gates, if you allow negativity in your ear, that negativity can continue to follow you throughout. So for any nation for that matter, when you go there, rid yourself of the negativity you heard. Oh, America is this, America is bad. No. Rid yourself. So when you come, the people that will try to portray and give you negativity, rid yourself of it so that you don't mimic what they are going through or mimic what they are saying. You don't want to mimic. The only thing you want to copy is the good things that that person has to offer. We need to be bold enough to say, I'm going to listen and filter out what is not going to be helpful. As a people, we're not very great at these things where you can filter out the negativity that people try to transfer onto you. So what did I say? The people you encounter. Because if you come and you encounter somebody who doesn't believe in progress, doesn't believe in investment, doesn't believe, they can easily transfer that to you. And don't take people for granted. Never. When you get here, if somebody even gives you a cup of tea, all they did for you is a cup of tea. Be forever indebted to that person and grateful to that person. Because maybe you were thirsty if they didn't give you that cup of tea when you landed from the plane. One meal they offered. See, a lot of us tend to be ungrateful. There are lots of ungrateful people. A lot. Friends are ungrateful. Families are ungrateful. Leadership can be ungrateful. A lot of ungrateful people. So what you do is to ensure that whomever you encountered who was good to you, you are grateful. So number 3, the spirit of gratitude. You must be grateful. I always tell this story. Something fell in my eye. I always tell this story. In 2004, the lessons are actually a lesson a year. Every year I learned a different lesson. So I'm kind of putting it together because I'm trying to cram everything, right? But in 2004, I went away to college. That's when I finished high school. If you're watching from Ghana, I finished SS. And in 2004, when I went away to school, things became so hard financially. They became so hard financially. And you see, I taught myself to do hair when I was away at BYU. I went to BYU, which is an amazing school. And because I was so far away from home, I think on the plane it was 5 hours for the flight. So flying 5 hours within the United States is far. I lived in the East Coast in New York City and went all the way to the West Coast, which is in Utah. I went to school in Utah. When I got there, there were so many things I had to deal with. And there's a lesson there too. I'll bring a lesson. But the gratitude piece is where we are. Number 3 is gratitude. Listen, things were so bad. There were days I was looking for, what am I going to eat? There were days I was trying to figure out, what would I eat? And friends that will say, I'm there for you, were not there. And I remember my sister's husband saying to me, I will pay your phone bill. Don't worry about it. Every month I can pay your phone bill if you need help. And I said, okay. And he said, if you have a credit card, I can also pay the credit card. Now, let me tell you this. He actually never got to paying the credit card or the phone. But it was the fact that he told me, don't worry about your phone bill. I needed my phone. I was too far from home. I didn't have help. I needed at least a phone. And he offered and said, if your phone bill comes and you can't pay, I'll pay for it. And that's all he said. Even though he never got to paying it, my gratitude, I never forgot that situation. And I told myself, when I can, I will also offer him things. I will buy things for him. And I did it. I did it. Over time, I've shown my gratitude. I'm not going to say I've paid for what he did for me. No, you don't ever really pay. It's not an equal exchange, because when somebody's there for you when you need them, there's never, okay, later them, I'll pay them more than, no, it's not an equal exchange. Even if they give you 100 and you give them 1,000, it's not necessarily an equal. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, because in that moment, what you needed may have been worth $10,000, even though it was only $100. And I understand that because there's something I understand clearly, that's honor. And I understand clearly is gratitude. I don't forget what God picked me from. Neither do I forget what people have done for me. Even if you become mean and bad to me, I never disgrace somebody that was once there for me. It's a lesson I'm giving you. Never, never dishonor, disgrace, put down, shut down, dismiss, disrespect. Do you understand? Never dismiss anybody that offered you a cup of water. I mean that with my core. Never. So this is one of the biggest lessons I learned living in America. That the people you meet, in general, it's just a lesson. There's nothing special about this lesson, but I'm telling you that it's even more crucial in America living here, that you don't carry the spirit of ingratitude, that you don't take people for granted. So what? Yeah, my uncle brought me, but he was this, and that, and what? But your uncle brought you. That's where the story stops. Are you here? Because I'm not seeing. Are you here? Tell me that you're here. Let me see your comments. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do the list for me, because the first 3 were not written down. Because what I have as number 1 is not what I'm talking about. So please write the list for me. I'm going to go back and listen anyway, but do you understand what I'm saying? That you will never be ungrateful. See the way I'm going in? I'm not going to finish the 25. It's true. Because I'm going in. So I'm here to tell you that gratitude is a key that unlocks many doors. I may not have what you need, but I know someone who has what you need. I cannot give you what you want right now, but I may be able to show you. I am called to teach people how to fish. That's my calling. Why? Because I'm called as a shepherd. So I take people through the process. I carry you on a journey with me. But whatever it is, you will come out of it. So sometimes during that process, there could be a disagreement. So people tend to they can easily be ungrateful because there's a disagreement. So now I'm gonna talk down to you. And no, go through the process. It's a process. And yesterday I was sharing with my ladies. Y'all know I have a nonprofit for women, Women of Value, amazing organization. And yesterday I was sharing with them that if somebody is driving and is leading you to a location and you're in your car behind the person, following that person, okay? Following that person, okay? And while you're following the person, you see the highway, maybe you're going to a mall and you see the name of the mall. So you end up, you say, oh, I see the mall, then you exit. But you're following somebody who didn't exit. Here's what I'm saying to you. You're following the person, you're behind them, and they passed the exit. You saw the name and you exited because you thought, oh, I'm going to the mall and this is the mall. But when you exited, there was traffic on the road. So now you can't get back on the road. And because they're ahead of you, they can't go back and come fetch you. So sometimes we exit prematurely. Oh boy. Oh boy. This is part of the reason why I can't come live. Um, because in the morning, there are so many things I need to attend to. Guys, I do have to pause. I'm so sorry. Okay. Oh, oh, this is wow. Am I still live? This is part of why I can't come live because there is always something I need to attend to. But I'm live again. I'm gonna finish this. I'm live again. Okay. Ooh. Okay. You guys can hear me. I have another message I'm going to record later on talking about birthing. I don't want to be distracted at all. And so I will just thank you. Thank you, Diamond. That heart means everything to me. I'm telling you. Oh, listen, everything is against. Do you know what it means to be silenced, where the enemy is doing everything to silence you? But we will not be silenced. With or without makeup, I'll come on. Whether the light is bad or not bad, I will come on. I have a word, and I have something to share that God wants me to share. I didn't plan to come live today. Yesterday, as I was speaking to my father, and I was so grateful, and I was thanking him for bringing me to America. It just came. Go and share the 25 lessons. Just go share the 25 lessons. I'm sure there are more lessons, right? But for what that moment represented. So we won't be silenced. Share it with somebody. Let them come on and be blessed. Every time I'm ready to go live, I got to answer to something. I kid you not. Every single time. So that's why today I say I'm coming with Zoom. I can manage Zoom. I know Zoom very well. I will use Zoom. I'll go live. The time is coming very shortly where everything is set up and I can use the other apps to come on live. But for now, we'll use what we have. Because when God called Moses, Moses used what he had. Some of us want to wait until we have everything. There's never really going to be a time, and my life is proof of that there's never going to be a time where everything is perfect. But in those times, you're being called to something more. So we're going to go back and continue the list. I believe I was talking about the heart of gratitude. And I was talking about how important it is as an individual, as a person, to be grateful to the people. So as you're driving, the person saw the exit, did not exit. You were behind them, you exited. Why? You exited prematurely. So I was sharing with my ladies that when you exit prematurely, there is a delay that meets you. Because usually when you exit a highway, you have to go one, then before you can even get back on the highway, there's been traffic, there's a traffic sign, and it, God forbid, if you are on the road of beautiful Accra, then you are stuck. To get back on the highway, it would take you another 30 minutes to go around. Okay? And that's what I shared with the ladies. Don't exit prematurely. When the person, God gives you that person, because 3 things to birth your promises, that one of the things is people. So when you exit prematurely, you miss your destination, because that's not where you were going. So I'm saying, don't take advantage of those people. Don't dismiss those people. Don't disrespect those people. It's like dating somebody. After you date them, no matter what they did, don't come and tell us what happened. Do you understand that? Oh, he broke my heart and he used me. He didn't use you. You enjoyed it too. We are fine. Yeah? So that is what you got to tell yourself, that when anybody you ever dealt with, keep it positive. Keep it positive. Yes, you brought me to America. Maybe you didn't help me get a job. Maybe you didn't help me, but you brought me to America. Maybe I stayed with you. You fed me only 2 meals, but I fed you 2 meals. Do you understand? So that is the lesson. Let's continue for the sake of time. Number 1. Did I say number 1? That was my number 1. Number 4. Perseverance amidst the storm. You see, my mom was Ivorian. There were Ghanaians who relocated to Ivory Coast. So there are Nzima people, Fanti people. So I was born in Ivory Coast, French speaking and all. And of course, in Ivory Coast, I spoke Fanti, not Nzima like my mom. When we moved to New York City, then is when I learned the tree and all those things and all. This is where I learned, and then that's where I learned English. I never spoke English in my life and never took an English class. I learned English in New York City. So I came in September. And what is September? School opens the end of August. So that means when I came, school had already started. When I was in Ivory Coast, I was on scholarship and I was a student in, I can't even remember the grade, to be honest with you. I don't know. I'm trying to remember and do the math. I can't do it. So I don't know what grade I was, but whatever grade I was, when I came to the US, they put me in that grade. And it was 8th grade that they put me in. So I went to 8th grade and I didn't know any word of English. There was no immersion program. There was no, I mean, today we have like Spanish immersion everywhere. There was no such thing. So I came in the hood, in the middle of the Bronx, and I was placed in a classroom with no English. Guess what? I met a woman, and that woman was a woman who lived in France. What are the odds? This woman lived in France. What are the odds that I will meet a woman who lives in France? And she's my guidance counselor at the school. She's a beautiful white woman. And this woman became like my lifeline. So everything I needed, I went and told her. Everything I needed, I went and told her. And then finally, I believe my sister got me an English and French dictionary. And I read the dictionary like a book, cover to cover. Cover to cover. Within 6 months, I had mastered the English language. And that is how I was the top 3 graduating from that school. Of course, in math, I was the top student. But because math doesn't require language, right? Math is math and is universal. But the English, I was still part of the top students. Perseverance is what made me go through the bullying. People wanted to bully me and say stuff like, you have an accent, you're this, you're that, and make me feel lower than I really am. I didn't have the language. I didn't know that. I didn't know. But one thing I had was I've always been tough. And people that are around me can attest to this. My parents can attest to this. That I'm the toughest child, maybe. Very soft in the inside, but also very tough. So you can easily manipulate me. And a lot of people don't like that. Why am I insisting on that? Because you must have tough skin. You must be able to persevere. You must be able to overcome. You must be able to jump over hoops. And that is how I dealt with bullying. They tried to bully me. You know what I did? The one skill I had was I used to fight when I was in Ivory Coast. I have a sister that's actually a real fighter. She used to beat everybody for me. So I learned it and I knew how to fight. So one day I was at the school, the gym, and someone just threw the ball at me. And when she threw the ball, everybody started laughing. At this time, I didn't understand English. But you see, shame and whatever, embarrassment, that's also a universal feeling. I was embarrassed. I looked around and I went on the person and I beat the girl so badly. The way we beat people in Africa, I beat her so badly. But they suspended her because they said she's the one that started the fight. And when I went to the guidance counselor who speaks French, she said, there's no way you will lay hands on people. And I wasn't suspended. She just stood by me. I will never forget this woman. This woman literally kept me in that school. You don't forget the people that are there for you. Perseverance. You're going to encounter a lot of difficulty when you move abroad. Persevere. Listen, y'all know I love Ghana more than anything. I do. Sometimes I'm like, the people are too slow for me. When I go to Ghana, everybody, you guys are so relaxed and so. When I used to go to Ghana in the beginning, I used to lose half of my mind. Like, I was like, what? Let's go, let's go. Oh, I will meet you. And then you're waiting, it's 2 p.m. What are you doing? Get up, let's go. So you people just, you relax. And eventually I got used to the way Ghana moves. And, I didn't follow along, but I understood where they came from, because if you get off work at 3, we work until there's no time. We just, you clock out later, so I'm saying that to say, you have to be a little bit more bold. People say Ghana is hard, and I'm saying Ghana because that's what I know, right? So don't take it personal. This is not a personal attack. I love Ghana more than anything. Everybody knows that. But I can tell you that the same feeling you have, the way you can behave the same way in America, it won't work. It just won't work. You have to be on top of it. Every which way, you got to be on top of it. You got to catch on, because here it's a hustling mentality. And yes, you can live relaxed. There are people that live like tomorrow is already here. There are people who live like that. But it depends on where you're going and what you want to acquire. And where you are on the trajectory of your destiny. It really depends. If you are a child, you are a child. But if you come in as an adult, especially, you got to catch on and move with the flow. There is a flow in America. If you come and you stay behind the flow, you stay behind always. So that's that. Perseverance. Hustling is our language. Listen, I had 3 jobs at one time. I know that doesn't make sense to many people who live in Africa, because as much as we're hardworking in Africa, I'm telling you, America is a whole different animal. It's a whole different animal, I'm telling you. So you can't come with them and tell, I'm not going to work. No, here, it doesn't work like that. I don't care if you make 300,000 a year, because we've seen the money. It means nothing. You will still go back and work because the bills are what they are. Perseverance. Push through any obstacle that comes. Don't take no for an answer. Keep going. Again, number 5, right? Excellence. The Bible talks about Daniel. He had a more excellent spirit. You must be excellent. Everything you do, you have to do double what you're doing. So people were studying in school. I didn't speak English. I can't go and say, oh, I don't feel like doing my homework. No, I do my homework and help the people that need help with their homework too. You got to be more than. So it's not enough for you to get C's and say, I passed. No, you have to get the A. So you have to carry the spirit of excellence. Listen, some of you may know, we are into real estate. And so we have a real estate project in Ghana and blah, blah, blah. And it's now complete. But let me tell you, that project, I learned very quickly that there's the work ethic is lower than we think. I tried to work with many different entities in Ghana. And what I realized, I love the nation, but let me tell you something. The work ethic, one of the things I would teach in Ghana eventually is customer service and, customer relations. That's one of the things that I would do. Market somewhere, I'll do it. Because for the years I've traveled there, those are the things I've seen that are lacking. This one, I gave somebody an idea, you can run with it. I'm fine with it. But that's what's missing. They are doing the work. You are standing there. Everything is fine. The minute you turn around, they change the work. I'm telling you. I have people in Ghana that live there. They say, yeah, that's how it is. People, that's how they do. Your work ethic must be good in front or behind somebody. You have to be excellent in everything. So don't pretend to be working. The person moves around. So we will hire people to work, and then you turn around. Now they've changed the thing. They want to change the price. They want to change the. No, you can't do that in America. See, in America, when you tell somebody it's $500, it's $500. We don't change the price you know, in the middle of the process. We don't do that. What you say, you have to be a person of your word. So the reason you must be excellent is that there are things that are fighting against you. One of the things is your accent. Americans are quick to tell you, you have an accent, you have an accent, as if the accent means you're dumb. You too, you don't speak any language. If you spoke like 4 languages, you have an accent too. Because sometimes I sound Spanish. Sometimes I sound like I'm Caucasian. Sometimes too, I sound like I'm Akata. And sometimes too, I sound very African. Whatever comes is what I'm going to give out. Because you may need to vacillate and relate and connect to certain people at different times. So the accent will come out based on where you're at. So people will always try to show you the difference in you. You're an African. You have an accent. You listen, have excellence. Let excellence speak for itself. Are we clear? Have excellence. In everything you do, be excellent. Let there be a clear demarcation in your grades and their grade. Let there be a clear demarcation the way you speak and how. Listen, because I learned English, I mastered English. And I'm not just saying that in a braggadocious way. I mastered the language. When you learn something, you are better at it. Like I speak French. I was born to speak French, but somebody who learns French may be better than me because they actually learn the grammar. Grammar is what makes language what it is. Grammar is what improves communication. So you can speak English, but you're not speaking like somebody who learned it. So they have an accent, but they are excellent and they are good in what. So the words that I will use back in the day, I used to say culpable. You're culpable. They said, no, it's guilty. I'm like, no, but in French, we use big words. So I would try to use, so when I would translate, I was learning straight from the dictionary, cover to cover. So you cannot afford to be like everybody else. You must be excellent. Okay? So when you come to America, if there's a lazy spirit in you where you are coming from, you have to kill that spirit small. You need strength. You need perseverance. You need boldness because there are many things against you. Your resources are limited. Your accent, your this, your that. But when you do, excellence will speak for itself. Excellence needs no introduction. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about. I'm going to give you, I have 3 minutes to give you like 5 of them. Don't stay in your culture and your circle. See, I mentioned that I was raised in Ivory Coast. I never lived in Ghana. But when I moved, my parents moved me to the Bronx. The Bronx is actually Accra town. Ask anybody, they will tell you. The Bronx in New York City is Accra. So if you're there, you will never go back. That's why there are people who lived in America for 30 years. They never went back to Ghana because they were in Ghana. Okay? That's how I learned tree. Because everywhere I went, Etisen, and that's how I end up. I was like, what is Etisen? So eventually, that's how I actually learned tree fully because of the people I was meeting everywhere I went. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's a lot of Ghanaians living in New York City, and that's beautiful. So you eat the food that you miss, and it's great. Don't stay with them. So even though we're Ivorians, we didn't stay with the Ivorians, but we moved into the Ghanaians, and I mean, it's a different culture. Ivorians have a different culture. They do. Even their food are different. But we became truly, fully Ghanaian, full-blown Ghanaians. And every one of my siblings married Ghanaian people from Ghana. So it's almost like we went back to the roots where we didn't know, because my father left Ghana and went to Ivory Coast and stayed there and never went back to Ghana. So we now married people from Ghana and now we are going back to Ghana. Okay. So don't stay within your culture. And I don't want to say too much about it, but open your mind to learn from other cultures. Be with Spanish people, be with Asians, be just diversify yourself and your lens. Okay. They have something to teach you. Be bold. I mentioned that perseverance and be bold. Why? Boldness is slightly different than perseverance because perseverance is what you're going through that you're going to, you're going to be bold about it. But um you're going to overcome. But boldness is actually the courage to be able to do, the courage to make that step. Okay. And boldness, there's so much more I want to say about it, but be bold and don't copy. The reason a lot of people come to America, they don't want to bring their children, because their children ends up copying the life of other children. Don't copy other people. Do what you are doing. Don't copy. Okay. And don't waste your time. That's another one. Don't waste time. Many people like to waste time. Don't waste time. I think I've given you what? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Don't waste time. Be willing to unlearn and relearn. Be willing to do what? Unlearn and relearn. Okay. So, guys, I'm going to pause here. I know this is crazy. I know. But I'm going to pause here. Okay. What I'll do is I will come back on maybe in half hour. I don't know. Or in an hour. Something of that sort. I'll figure it out and I'll come back on. But I've given you 10, right? Don't stay in your circle. Be bold. Don't copy. Don't waste time. And be willing to unlearn and relearn. I'll come back for the remaining 15. Okay. I can't promise you that it'll be today, but it will happen. All right. So be blessed and be highly favored. And I thank you for joining me. This is your coach, Yeboah.